I will die on two hills when it comes to fast food. Number one, Burger King is the best of all the fast food companies in the UK, can't speak to any other places outside. And number two, KFC is the worst. I'm a big Taco Bell fan, so don't even think that that is a comeback. Hello, I'm Sam from R-CADE Glasgow. We talk about food a lot during our Super Arcade shows on Tuesday on Twitch at R-CADE Glasgow. And we also talk about video games, shockingly, not really surprisingly. So today I am still Sam, I'm still from R-CADE Glasgow, I'm still fat, and I'm talking to you about the top 5 junk food video games. Number 5, Pepsi Man. This is a notoriously trash game, which is no surprise that Andrew dressed up as the Pepsi Man himself for Comic-Con a couple of years ago. The earliest of early corporate tie-ins, Pepsi Man originally released for the PlayStation 1 in 1999. In the game, players take control of the eponymous Pepsi Man, the main marketing mascot for Pepsi within Japan and a little bit outside Japan during the late 90s. The player takes control of Pepsi Man as he continuously runs forward, helping him to dodge, duck, dip, dive and dodge through a series of suburban environments. Leap your way through the 4 stages of San Francisco, New York, Texas and Pepsi City with your goal to quench the thirst of a person in need. A Japanese exclusive product published and produced on a small budget, joint publisher/producer KID developed the game alongside cutscenes in between levels of live action video of a person drinking Pepsi, as well as 3D animated cutscenes. The 3D animated sections were modelled by Kotaro Ichikoshi, who would go on to become a relatively well-known visual novel game maker. He is most notably known for his Zero Escape series. Ichikoshi himself would go on to claim that the game didn't sell well, shocker, and the lack of a port outside of the Japanese exclusive is a little bit of a telltale sign that that was the case. If a game is popular in a specific region, there is going to be a push to expand it outside of there. The best we can say is that Complex Magazine listed Pepsi Man in a 2013 list of branded games that didn't suck. High praise. Number 4, McKids. Have you ever heard of crunch time? Talk about 4 people making an entire game in 8 months. Darren Bartlett, Greg East Tavares, Dan Cheng and Charles Deenan, I give you so much credit. The team behind McKids were challenged with making a video game advertisement for the McDonald's fast food brand, making use of conduits Mick and Mac as they traverse through McDonald land trying to retrieve Ronald McDonald's magical bag from the Hamburglar. I actually don't know what the Hamburglar sounds like, that's like a very American thing. I never grew up with that. We can move on. Side-scrolling through 7 different levels of McDonald's land, collecting pieces of McDonald's iconography, up to 2 players can make the Clown Prince of Grime forever in their debt. Greg East Tavares was a little bit down on the response that the game got at initial release, especially given that later games also published by Virgin Games would go on to have much more success using a lot of these similar mechanics. I think they're being a little bit too hard on reviewers, as by most accounts an average rating of around 70% is pretty good for a game that originally started out as just marketing for a fast food restaurant. Praised for truly original gameplay elements and graphics, while no McDonald's food appears in the game, it is still filled with marketing, so if you can stomach the rising hunger for a hamburger, I'd recommend checking it out. Number 3, Taco Bell Tasty Temple Challenge. Snakes! Why did it have to be snakes? Cries a weary Baja Bill as he sits down after a night of temple exploration. Probably, I don't know. Something that someone similar to him might say. Equally filled with product placement, albeit held together with much more spray-on cheese. Not much is known on the internet these days about the backstory to the Taco Bell Temple Challenge. Within the game, players must fight off a variety of enemies, including King Cobra snakes, using nothing but Taco Bell hot sauce packets. It is at this point that I will complain to you, Taco Bell, that your sauce packets, while delicious, feel very weak and watery, and I think that I could probably have killed those same snakes by blowing on them if that is what it takes to destroy them. That got very heated. I'm sorry. Not sorry, Taco Bell, sponsor me. This game has the most unique distribution setup on the list, as it was given out free with Taco Bell Kids meals in the 2000s. The game makes use of an engine similar to Doom, Wolfenstein and Quake years before, which meant that some reviewers felt that it was a bit outdated. It is a goddamn free game and a kids meal from a fast food restaurant. You cannot be criticising the fact that they've used old tech. Get off your high horse. DOS Gaming gave the game a 2.5 out of 10 when they were reviewing it, but their biggest takeaway was this: why Baja Bill and not Taco Bill? I agree. Why not Taco Bill? That's yet another thing for you to fix, Taco Bell. Bring back the Taco Challenge. Number 2, I love you, Colonel Sanders. So far we've had endless runners, side-scrolling action and outdated software, but now it's time for something truly unique, a fast food dating sim. Probably the most well-known game from Psyop Studios, I Love You Colonel Sanders was commissioned specifically by KFC and released freely, exclusively to Steam in 2019. Very short, at only 1 hour of playtime, the player pursues their teacher at a fictitious culinary school, the eponymous Colonel Sanders. Spread over 3 days, the aim is to slickly slide your way into that secret family recipe, if you catch my drift. While in the context of junk food specific games, this comes across as a very unique idea. It was panned by critics as being unimaginative, unoriginal and bog standard by the numbers when it was compared to traditional dating simulators. On top of that, it was criticised as taking the genre too lightly and being a continuation of video games at large, disrespecting the dating sim genre. Probably the most worrying element of all of this for the company, however, was that Polygon's Nicole Carpenter highlighted in a 2019 article that this also came across as a bit of KFC propaganda, as the company attempted to distance themselves from some of the more problematic views of the real-life man behind the Colonel Sanders iconography. Instead of a man who supported pro-segregation politicians, let's make him a husbando. If you want to buy even more into the Colonel Sanders propaganda, you can also check out the 2015 game Colonel Quest. I've seen screenshots. He throws a baby? Number 1, Doritos Crash Course. This is the one, not just number 1, but the one. Doritos Crash Course was a free release for the Xbox 360 in December 2010, and only 20 days later it would become the winner of the first ever Xbox Unlocked competition, beating out fellow finalist Harm's Way. The game was dreamed up by Jill Robertson of North Carolina and was based off the Japanese game show Sasuke, the predecessor to the more widely known in the Western world American Ninja Warrior. Ultimately developed by Wanaco Games and Behaviour Interactive, Doritos Crash Course has amazing reviews for freely available games with a 74 rating on Metacritic. Set in Japan, the player takes control of their Xbox avatar as they jump over and slide under certain obstacles across their path, sliding all the way to 1.4 million downloads in their first month of accessibility and spawning off a DLC featuring levels from London and Las Vegas, as well as a sequel game released in 2013. Now available on Xbox 360, Xbox One and Windows PCs as Doritos Crash Course Go, you can get access to frustratingly difficult product placement side-scrolling wherever you feel most comfortable. Now the only question is what flavour, and the answer is Cool Ranch for dipping, tangy cheese for putting inside or on top of things, and chili heatwave for just a snack. I've been Sam from R-CADE Glasgow and I cannot wait to serve you some delicious junk food, snack food from the R-CADE Glasgow snack bar as soon as possible. In the meantime, why don't you join us over on Patreon at patreon.com/R-CADE Glasgow, where you get a bunch of exclusive gameplays, discount codes and a special Super Pass patron monthly bonus, while also helping us out during these difficult times. If you just want to hang out generally, you can do that on our Twitch channels, twitch.tv/R-CADE Glasgow or /R-CADE2. Have a beautiful day filled with delicious food and wonderful games. That's all we can ask for, right? Sweet Shaka! Number 2, I love you, Colonel Sanders. I hate KFC, and that is ironic that is what I've just had to say 5 times.